Am I live? Am I live? Oh, this light is too much. Okay, okay. Am I live? I always had an orange tinge to my complexion. It gets oranger as I get older. But yes, yes, yes. Yesterday I was so excited when I was doing my Michael review that I had, I did too much. But I want to say it was a phenomenal movie. It Let me tell you, your expectations determine how you're going to appreciate this movie. Now I went in and I said, look, I only expect it to be a long music video of all his hits. That's all. So that was my expectation. I didn't expect to learn anything from the tabloids. I didn't expect it nothing. But what this movie showed was more of Mike's creative process. See what happened to Mike. Mike got in tune to himself, his spirit, his soul, and his body. And very people can do that, because a lot of times our musicians, even though they were creative and they had the gift, a lot of them were on drugs or doing debauchery. So they never reached that level, because he was a pure as the soul, because he had a lot of love, he wanted love, and he gave a lot of love. He was able to just, God was able to express himself through Michael. And that's what happened, you know. Um, Hold on. Yeah, I just wanted you to put the garbage cans out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the garbage is there. Yeah, I just want you to bring them out because they come early.
Uh,
Okay, bye. So, um, so I went in like that. I don't need to hear what the tabloids think or what other people thought of Michael. I wanted to really Michael's story from his perspective, and that's what we got. The actors, there was not one person who didn't deliver. Even the white man. Even the white men delivered. Everybody delivered. The music industry was ran by the mafia. Let's just be real. The mafia were the ones that had the money and was putting up the money, and they operate the music industry like mobsters. Now, as long as you were cranking out the hits, they left you alone. They supplied you with all the drugs you needed, and they made sure law enforcement didn't, stay on your ASS. It's quite simple. I mean, it's easy to bribe an officer. They only make but so much. And they're trying to be good men and women and live honorable. And they come across these thugs, all this money. That's why they take some of the money. We saw with the the YSL trial, the watches got stolen. That's common. That's common way. That's what they do. They stuck. So yeah, yeah. So everyone did a phenomenal job. Joe got a little jealous. See, Joe, Mama Joyce, my mother, they're overbearing. My mother was so overbearing. I love Diane, but Diane, see, it was just me and Diane. I had no sisters. I got a younger brother, but Diane and I, okay, we were like sisters. She had me when she was 18. So we kind of grew up together. We only 18 years apart. You know what I'm saying? Anybody between 20 years and under is your peer. Okay? So we grew up together. And Diane took motherhood very seriously, just like I take motherhood very seriously. And Diane was overprotected because she said, I was so scared when you were young because you never met any strangers. I was always afraid someone was going to snatch you. because I loved talking to adults. I love learning. I thought childhood was a waste of time. I didn't like being a kid. So anyway, to get back to Michael, Joe was really trying to protect his boy from drugs. You just like you, he tried to protect him from gang and the streets in Gary, Indiana. He tried to protect them the same from Hollywood, and he wanted to keep the family together. There were no superstars in the Jacksons household, but Michael had a work ethic, like I have a work ethic. When you have a strong work ethic, you can't be around lazy bums. Now, the his Jackson brothers, they love music, but they didn't love it to the level Mike loved it. They weren't trying to change the world. They were just, basic. And they're talented. Don't get me wrong. Them Jackson brothers are talented. You can't, that whole entire family, Joe and Catherine were definitely from the tribe of Judah. Okay. They definitely, and the nephew just passed down to the nephew. Now, the nephew, people say, oh, he looks like Mike. That was his darn uncle. Are you stupid or are you dumb? Michael's DNA is in him, and I'm so glad they used a family member because it's about time that strangers stop capitalizing, making all the money. Those Jacksons are smart. Now, the man, they may not like the white man that's over the state and stuff, but you got to give white people credit. They know how to exploit you. They know how to exploit you for business purposes. They're very good at that. And they're going to exploit you because they're going to make money. That's how they make their money. Don't be mad about it. Just figure out how it can benefit you more. That's all. That's all. Just learn how it benefit. Now, Janet and Randy, let me tell you something. You know what? The family feud got to stop at some point. At some point, y'all gotta say, okay, okay, okay. Until you find someone who can, until these people die, you might as well figure out a way how to capitalize on them. And anger is not gonna do it. Anger is not gonna do it. And Janet, let me tell you something. You need to tell your story. Instead of around pouting and this and that, and yeah, Michael may have said some things, and yeah, the man may have forged some documents. Yeah, but at this point, Janet, get your money. Don't spend a bunch of money on high priced lawyers that will not get you any results. Okay? See, I'm one of those lawyers, I'm very honest. I'll tell my client, look, we ain't got a case. Settle. I was always the type, if I can go after you, I'm gonna get everything, every penny from my client. You owe my client money, they're gonna get their money. But if it's something you can settle, I follow the Bible. If you can settle, settle. See, these lawyers make money with billable hours. So some of them know you don't have a case. They know you don't have a case, but they're going to sit there and file complaints, motions, whatever, to take your money because they make money by the hour. So, Janet, go and get you some good lawyers, okay? And make your own movie. We want to know what happened to you. Y'all need to stop that because Michael got caught up in his own hype. That's what happened. Michael surrounded himself with a bunch of yes people that would not check him because he was overly sensitive. I got a son like Michael. Like you can't say he gets upset. He don't correlate that we're trying to help him. He gets upset. He thinks that if you don't say anything that he's wonderful that you're against them. That it's called accountability. It's called accountability. And Michael did not have people. He had people around him who cared more about the bottom line than the. When he announced that tour, he only wanted to do a certain number of tours. They wanted more tours, not realizing this man's in his 50s. He ain't his body is you saw he was frail to begin with. They didn't care. They didn't care. They got him a doctor, stupid black doctor, okay? And the FBA, but go ahead, to go administer this drug. He leaves the room. Michael ups the pump and kills himself. I don't think nobody killed Michael. I don't think they wanted Michael dead. But we gotta admit to some things. Some things we gotta admit to. Yes, they killed him because they supplied him with whatever he wanted, even if it was a danger. You don't use that drug every day to sleep. Anyway. So Michael did himself in, the paranoia, and he tried to Tommy Mottola. He tried to tell us that Tommy Mottola was a devil, in the industry. He tried to expose them, but you gotta realize these people were on drugs, and it was very easy to take them out, whether it was prescription or illegal drugs. They Whitney, Prince, Michael. You have to be the first in line for your protection. And they got caught up in their height. They didn't keep themselves grounded. And they had people around them that cared more about exploiting them than loving them. And that's what happened to Mike. So we could stop all these conspiracy theories and all this stuff. Is plain and simple. We make things so spooky. We make everything so spooky. It's not spooky. The wages of sin is death. If you don't do things God's way, you could holler God all you want, okay? But we want God's blessings, but not his commandments. We want God's blessings and not his commandments. The Bible tells us not to be junker or, high in our minds. He tells us. He tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. He tells us. It's in scripture. Just read Matthews. Matthews tells you everything you need to know. Matthews, the book of Matthews. Start there. And then go to Solomon. Those are my two favorite books, Solomon and Matthews. You could be you're a Jehovah's Witness, but you got to live it. The Bible tells us in Proverbs, watch those flattering tongues. Watch people that want to tell you how wonderful you are all the time. There's got to be a check and a balance. You're not wonderful all the time, and you're not bad all the time. I can't wait to the movie. I was in movies with bougie black people. I was happy. I said, you know what? I want to go to a movie theater with black folks. That's what I said. I wanted to do it because we like to talk and respond and call, respond. I was in there with a bunch of bougie black people. It was 10 a.m. in the morning. Granted, everybody's half asleep, but these Negroes wasn't even tapping their feet. I don't know how they sat there. I did the whole entire Thriller dance with Jabbar, whatever his name is, Jabbar. I was in there. Child. My husband, I was sitting in between my husband and daughter. I don't know. But anyway, my daughter, she's allergic to black folks. I'm surprised she came with me to the movies. She has black friends, but they just like her. They're allergic to black people. But anyway, So that's it. That's enough. It's been 15 minutes. You know, I value your time. I don't believe in these long behind videos. I don't think videos should go past 30 minutes. Okay. I mean, but anyway, have a nice day. Great job for Qua. All the act Nia Long did a magnet. I didn't think anybody could beat Angela Bassett. Okay, you know, I was the America Dream. I still love that one. I still love that one. But this one lets you just see a little bit more behind the scene and the creative process. Okay. So if you want the tablet and think again, they probably were going to tell a story about the allegations, but there was a lawsuit because you know people trying to shake down the estate now. Judges, stop the bull crap. Stop and make the people pay for these frivolous lawsuits that are money grabs. Make the people pay, okay, the legal fees of the defendant. Okay, then that would stop all this. Okay, that would stop all this because you know what? Let me tell you something. I don't care how wonderful Mike was. Guess what? What Attorney Mom was gonna do when my kids were minor? Send them over to Michael's house. They can go visit. We can go visit, play on Neverland, play. But when it was time to go home, guess where the kids would go? With me. Yes, I think it is creepy. I don't care how Peter Pan you think you are. Okay, I don't care. It was creepy to me that a grown man wants to do sleepovers just because he was rich. And some parents allowed them because they were waiting for the shakedown. Do I think Michael molested any of those kids? No. No, I don't. I don't. But the optics. The Bible says, do not let your good be evil spoken of. That's because it's creepy for adults to want to be around children. But I understand Mike, animals and children. I understand where Mike was coming from. But you still got to put a distance. You still got. I was a teacher for a high school teacher at Patterson Catholic High School for a little while before I went to clerk with Judge Warmack. And I was 10 years older than the kids, you know, and I made sure I kept a distance. You know what I'm saying? No, you're not. Like one kid had a crush on me. And his mama, I told his mama, and mama said, oh, he just got a crush on you. Well, I don't think that's cute, mama. And he's creeping me out, mama. Okay. He's standing in my class staring at me, mama. Okay. No, that's not cute. It's not cute. No, those are babies. Leave the babies alone. Leave the babies. I don't care how old the babies look. They're babies. Leave the babies alone. So I'm mom's side. I think we should file RICO charges against these parents. If you allow your child to stay over Mike's house, there should be a RICO trial against you because you were conspiring to with a pedophile. If you a quote unquote pedophile, that's now you coming. Y'all lucky. I'm not a judge hearing these cases because I'll shut all this ish down. You ain't coming out 30, 20, 40 years later talking about, oh, I was molested. Oh, really? Really? Get out my courtroom. Get out my courtroom. Okay? Get out the courtroom. Okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because the real trauma victims, guess what? Guess what they're not doing? They're not running to different podcasts. They're not trying to get clout. They're not trying to make money. They moved on in life. Because you know, there's people ain't running to the police department filing reports. You know that, right? Okay, you know that. A lot of these people were looking for paydays, and they did whatever they could so their kids could make it. Guess who ain't got a sad story like that? Kim Fields. Because Chip Fields was not playing with the industry. Okay. Chip Fields was not playing. Okay. Chip Fields, you weren't going to molest her daughters. None of them Facts of Life girls got any of them. You got to protect your children at all costs. I'm done. Have a nice day. Increase the peace. Bye.